Okay, I promised I'd do a few more examples for you so you can check your attempts on these revision tests. First one's a really interesting question here. This is test 2B. I'll do the multiple choice questions first. So an algebraic expression that represents half of 5 more than x. Now, the reason I say this is interesting is because it depends on how you read it. Half of 5 more than x would be half of 5 being added on to x. But what if they mean half of 5 more than x? So if I bracket it that way, half of 5 more than x, I get answer C. If I bracket it this way, half of 5 more than x, I get answer B. This is the answer they've gone for, but I can see how you could get either answer for that one. That's a really bad question. They need to be more clear on what they're asking, but it's interesting to think about. All right, an algebraic expression for the cost of in dollars of 3 drinks at $D each. So if you bought 3 drinks and they each cost D, that's going to be 3D. And P pies at $4 each. Well, pies cost P, and I've got P pies and they cost $4 each, so that's $4 for each pie. The other one was 3 drinks for D each. Either way, the sum is going to be 3D plus 4P. Answer C. $600 is to be shared equally among N people. Write an expression for the amount one person will receive in dollars. Now, we had this on the first test, and a few of us got it upside down. Let's have a think. The amount I have is 600. I've got to divide it equally. Sharing equally is division, so divided by N people. So 600 divided by N. Dividing people into 600 pieces doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? So that's how we can remember that one. Question 4. When evaluating an expression, which operation should be considered last? Now, you know I'm not a big fan of BODMAS and PEMDAS and all of these other things because I think it's a pretty good rule of thumb, but sometimes there's a couple of little tricks we need to remember. But this one's going to be straightforward. What are we going to really start with? We're going to do our brackets, our powers. We've got to do all those things first. Multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction come last. So we're going to go with D for addition and subtraction. Now that's different when you're evaluating as opposed to when you're going backwards to solve an equation, where we undo it in the other order, just like when we're getting undressed for the shower. We remember that one. All right, A is equal to 8, B is equal to -4, C is equal to 5, A squared over B minus BC. So I've got to have A is 8, so it's going to be 8 squared divided by B is -4 minus -4 times 5. Let's just simplify each bit as we go. 8 squared, that's 64 over -4, minus -4 by 5. So a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive, and 4 times 5 is 20. Now you just got to figure out how many 4s in 64. Luckily, you probably know there are 15 of them in 60, because you know a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes, so that's pretty easy. So 15 plus one more group of 4, so it must be 16. But I'm dividing by a negative, so it's -16 plus 20. My answer will be 4. Letter B. When we expand brackets, we use the distributive law. Which of the following does not represent the distributive law? Just go through them one by one and check. -A by B would be -AB, -A by C, -AC. That one's okay. AB minus AC, that's what they have. That one's okay. -A times B is -AB. -A by -C, 2 negatives make a positive. That one's okay. Check our next one. A times B plus A times C. That's looking good. Let's hope this is the one they've messed up. -A by B is -AB. -A by -C, 2 negatives make a positive. They've got a negative there. So that must be the one where they did not follow the distributive law correctly, because when they expanded that second one, -A by -C, it should have been positive. Question 7. The inequality representing the x values on the number line below is. So, what does this mean? A shaded in circle means it's included in the group. An unshaded circle means it's excluded. We don't include that point. So this looks like we want all of the x's between -3 and -1. They've got to be bigger than -3 because they're to the right, less than -1. So if we have a look, there's a couple that we can choose from. This one here, and this one here, A, C, and E. These two are no good. D and B, we can get rid of those straight away because obviously we're between two values. Now, x has to be greater than, so it's got to be at the bigger end of your little sign, greater than -3. Well, here, that x is at the smaller end of the sign, so that's no good. I'm left with these two, greater than or equal to -3, or just greater than -3. Remember, the shaded in circle includes the point, so it's got to be greater than or equal to -3, which means this one's looking good. This one's missing the equal sign there, so that's not looking good. And if you check the other side, an open circle should exclude -1. They've said it's allowed to equal -1. That's wrong. This one got it right. A, greater than or equal to -3, less than -1. That's the one you've wanted. When you're doing that question, you could always just write it yourself. -3 is less than or equal to x, which is then less than 1. And then you just find the one that matches it up. Oop, -1. Remember my negative. Find the one that matches up, and you're done. 3 to go. Which of the following values does not satisfy the inequality? So 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to -1. You can go ahead and solve this. So I'm going to subtract 3 from each side. So that would be 2x is greater than or equal to -4. Then divide by 2. X is greater than or equal to -2. Are there any examples where x is not greater than or equal to -2? That one right there, D. So that's the one we want. If you're not sure or you want to double check, you can just substitute the numbers in. If I put 1 in for x, I get 2 plus 3 is 5. That works. -2, that'd be -4 plus 3 is -1. Well, that's equal to, so that'd be all right. And you can substitute the values in. When I try -3, you'll see I'll have 2 times -3 is -6. If I add 3, that's -3. -3 is not greater than -1. Again, D is the one we've got to get rid of. The solution to simultaneous equations y equals x plus 5 and y equals 2x minus 3 is. So you have a couple of options. You could just go ahead and solve them. Using the substitution method, if y is equal to x plus 5, that second equation I can call x plus 5 is equal to 2x minus 3. Get all my x's together by subtracting x from each side. And if I'm getting my x's on the right, I want to get rid of that -3, so I'm going to add 3 to each side. Now I have 8 equals x. Oh, well, if x is equal to 8 and y is x plus 5, then y is equal to 8 plus 5 is 13. And you can just find 8 and 13. The alternative, of course, is just to check the answers. If I put x equals 4, do I get 9? Yes. If I put x equals 4, I get 5. Well, that's not 9, so A only worked for one of the equations. And you can just substitute the values in and make sure they work in both equations. Probably solving it's a little bit easier. Finally, last one in the multiple choice section. 7 less than twice a certain number is 3 more than the same number. Let's let the number be x, or n for number, why not? So 7 less than twice a certain number. Well, there's twice a certain number. 7 less than that number, so you've got to get that the right way around. 7 less than 2n, so I've got to subtract it from 2n, is 3 more than the same number. So there's the number plus 3. Now we can just go ahead and solve the equation. Again, you can substitute the numbers in to get the answer, but solving equations, we've got to be really good at that. We're going to need to do a lot of it in the exam. So I get my n's together. I've got fewer of them on the right, so I said get rid of that one, which means I've got to get rid of 1 from the left-hand side. If my n's are going on the left-hand side, I want to get rid of that 7. Opposite of subtracting is to add 7, so I add 7 on the other side. And you can already see the answer while I'm changing my pen. On the left-hand side, I'm now left with just n, and on the right-hand side, I have 10. So the answer's A. I hope that helps. There's your multiple choice questions done. I'll come back with another video for part B. Cheers.